Welcome to Eye Contact, a video news program on issues and controversies in ophthalmology sponsored by EUROTIMES. I am Dan Epstein. A safe and effective surgical intervention for the treatment of presbyopia is the holy grail of refractive surgery. Are we any closer to making this a reality than you were 10 years ago? We asked refractive surgery pioneer Ioannis Pallikaris, the inventor of LASIK and EpiLASIK, to provide some insight on this question. Welcome, Ioannis.
Thank you.
Let us start in the present. If a presbyopic patient comes in and wants to see at far and at near and at intermediate, we will probably offer that patient a multifocal IOL solution. How good are we with these solutions? Are we happy with them?
To answer straightforward, I can say we are very close to this goal. I believe that the major issue which should be careful when we speak with these candidates is to understand what are the expectations. And because final decision has to be made based on the need of everyone. And everybody has a different need, more or less. So very often the patients, they come to us and of course they are, let's say, motivated to take out the glasses, to have a better life. But we should, as a doctor, first understand what are the real needs of those candidates. And I think we have to spend a lot of time in the beginning to speak with them. What they're doing, environment that they're working, jobs, sports, what they're expecting. And sometimes what's happened in my practice, I have to teach them many things that they are not aware about it, regarding, optics, quality of life, anything, many other issues. So, of course, the education level, let's say, of the candidate is very important because you can have a better conversation with him. But going back to the technology today, I think with the modern multifocals and mainly with trifocals, this is very important because it looks like we solved the problem of the intermediate near vision with the trifocals. I think we are very close as far as concerned, let's say, the refractive outcome, which is our goal. On the other side, of course, we know that all these multifocal systems and the multifocal lens, they have some problems regarding the quality of the optics, halos, night driving sometimes, and all this stuff. So I think with the modern designs, we can overpass this problem also a lot.
That is exactly my point. The multifocals have been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
Improving all the time, of course, but their share of the market is less than 10%.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? Is it because they're not there where they should be, or is it because we have too little experience with trifocals that haven't really affected the market?
I can explain this because of the one issue is related to the technology. The old bifocals, or let's say multifocals, they were not as good as the latest one. They have a lot of side effects, let's say. And to say the truth, if you asked me 10 years ago to convince a patient who is 45 years, 50 years old, let's say, to have a refractive lens exchange, for example, I was not very positive to do that. Today, I feel more confident to convince my candidate to do that. And I think today I feel more confident, let's say, with the updated new technology. And I'm sure that this, let's say, 10% will increase dramatically in the next 2 or 3 years. This is my feeling.
Interesting. What other options, such as the camera corneal inlay, refractive laser, SMILE, you see as supplementing the IOL?
Oh, this is a very good question because, this is in order to go to, let's say, a final decision close to cataract, let's say, patient, we have a transition time. This is the time the patient needs to have a very good near vision, but still have very good far vision. So here you have always to count with some compromises, really. Any of these technologies is related with the monofocal approach, monovision approach, even laser approach. All of these, let's say, procedures, they have a certain degree of compromisation of the quality of vision. What we know, for example, that let's say the monovision approach with a multifocal intraocular inlays or other kind of lenses, they had a quite big reduction of contrast sensitivity, for example. Then light condition is very important in this situation because the pupil play a very big role, for example. Of course, also the brain, let's say, adjustment or let's say the flexibility is very important. Very often we try to make monovision with the same correction into different patients, and one patient accepts it immediately, doesn't have any problem. And for the other, it's very difficult even to make a half diopter difference between the dominant and non-dominant eye. So I think we have to pretest all those candidates before in order to be on the safe side. In general, and based in my experience, I have done, as you know, the last year many trials on this type of different kind of lenses and monovision. For the normal patients, 2 out of 3 patients, probably or less, they may accept this kind of approach.
So even the compromise you mentioned of reduced contrast sensitivity, the motive of the presbyopic patient is such that he could be willing to accept it.
Yeah, this is again. It depends what the patient is needed. I think it is very, very important, really. Yeah. You know, what is your job? If you are a surgeon, or if you are working on the field, for example, you are a farmer. So there's different things. Yeah. But I mean, today, until we came to the point to have, let's say, the optimum solution. Optimum solution for me means to replace the lens with another lens which has the same function. And the same function means to have a system with the refraction changes continuously for the first 5 centimeters to 1 kilometer. And we know with presbyoptics, which is a field, as you know, I have spent a lot of time the last couple of years. We know that our accommodation is a full dynamic process. It's very complex. And any moment we change refraction. So that's why there are, say, many factors that somebody has to have in his mind. But again, I come to my first, let's say, thought that until we have the perfect lens, a doctor which likes to deal with presbyopia has to be aware for all the available techniques and has to study the field of presbyopics or the optics of presbyopia. And I think he has to have also some kind of psychological training, because a very important factor is how you convince your patient that he has the right results. I mean, this is the most important part in our business, because the first part is to convince the patient to explain that will be very good. And after the patient comes back and has some complaints, then there is a trick how the patient come inside satisfied and go outside. No, come inside not satisfied, right, and come outside satisfied because of your speech.
So if we say that the perfect lens is still not here, in the meantime, while waiting for the perfect lens, what do you see in the pipeline that could keep some patients happy and solve their presbyopic problems?
Oh, yeah, I believe that the current stage, let's say the multifocals, in particular the modern trifocals, with they offer, let's say, good near vision for 25 to 80 centimeters, for example, it's continuous, let's say, vision. They cover, I can say they cover probably the optical needs of almost 90-95% of the patient. The only issue which remains is the side effect of these lenses. But I think we are in a stage that really presbyopia is not really a big problem today to be solved.
That's very optimistic and very promising. Thank you very much for joining us. And for more information on this and related topics, please visit us at eurotimes.org.